Hello everyone, welcome back to Football Manager 2017 with Newcastle United, and today we are finishing our fifth season as manager of the club. I think it's the longest anybody's been manager of Newcastle United for a very long time. It's quite an interesting game to start this episode. There's only two matches in this little episode. It should be a bit shorter, but I'll also do the end of season review in this. We're away against Sunderland in a very important fixture. With just two matches left, we're only 1 point clear of fifth place. Now, we have got a game in hand over Chelsea, United and Man City. So even if we lose to Sunderland, which would be absolutely horrific, we would still remain in the top four positions, but we could slip down to fourth. Now, what I do want is to win this match, because if we win this game, we will qualify for the Champions League. So beating Sunderland away from home, qualifying for the Champions League and guaranteeing our position as second in the table for the final match of the season would be a very, very nice way to end what has been a little bit of a disappointing season. We've come close to winning the title. It doesn't look it at the moment with us 14 points behind, but just one or two episodes ago we were just 6 points behind Spurs with a good number of games left to go. So it's a little bit unfortunate having been so close all through the season, up in sort of second position, to have dropped down. But we can finish up there, finish second, finish as runners up in the Premier League. We just need to beat Sunderland to do that. It's quite a strong team going out there. We've got Origi, Pulisic and Sane up top, with Kovacic, Melagoni and Witsel in midfield. Then it's Rahman, Jones, Mamana and Chambers across the back four. We've got a pretty much full fit squad, which is quite nice. Unfortunately, it's come at the wrong time. We had a bit of an injury crisis as we were progressing through the season. So hopefully we can get a good win, make the fans happy and solidify our place in the Champions League for the second season in a row. Kovacic with a long ball over the top, which Origi's managed to get onto. He cuts inside the defender. Oh, that was a beautiful goal from Divock Origi. He turned the defender inside out, slotted it past the keeper, and we're 1-0 up. Chambers with the throw. There's Leroy Sane. What a horror tackle from Clayton, and he's been given a straight red card, and this day is getting better and better for us. Pulisic to Melagoni. Does Mamana? It's cleared out. Pulisic with a free kick. He sends it over. Sewell gets it away, but there's Kovacic. Sends the ball in. Lukaku. There's the ball again. Origi nods it home. It's 2-0. Well, the full-time whistle's about to go. We've absolutely hammered Sunderland. It might not be reflected in the scoreline, but they never had a chance. And we have qualified for the Champions League yet again, back up to second in the table. And we can enjoy our last game without too much worry. It's against Swansea, who are in a relegation scrap, but look like they're probably going to be safe by the time we play. It means that we can solidify second place if we win that game, but it ultimately doesn't matter. We're guaranteed the top four, and that's all we really care about. Well, the board have set our budget, and I have to say I'm quite disappointed with it. I think it's because we've been milking the 48-month transfer system, and obviously in the newer games, they take a good chunk out of your transfer budget each time you do that. So each season you do it, you have more and more money taken out. It means I'm going to have to try and stretch this 30 million again, but we also have to be very careful about who we bring in. There are some players who could leave the club. I won't go over that now, but we definitely want to look at bringing in some players. I might even look at some of these free transfers that are upcoming. There's a few decent looking players in here who could just do a job for 1 or 2 seasons if we need them. Here is our team for that final match of our 5th season. It's pretty much exactly the same as last match, but Melagoni and Kovacic have switched sides. I'm expecting us to get a good win, secure second place in the table and some runners-up positions, which would be a new peak finish for us since we finished up as runners-up when Alan Shearer was leading the line. That happened twice in the 90s, and now we're going to do it again nearly 30 years later, 25 years probably more accurately. I think it was 96, 97 that we did that. So we're close, probably not quite fulfilled our potential this season, but we have laid the foundations for a very good title challenge next season. Corner from Pulisic. Cleared away, Melagoni's chasing it. He sends the ball back over. Mamana's in there. Mamana drills it into the bottom corner. He's got 6 goals this season, and they've tended to be as a predator in the box. Chambers down the line. Sane's got onto it. He's got the pace and can send an early cross in. He finds Origi, takes a touch past the defender and hammers it home for 2-0. Divock Origi scored a couple of cracking goals in the last 2 games. Corner from Pulisic. Cleared out. Origi's still there. Now Witsel finds Leroy Sane in a good area. He takes an excellent touch. Still going Sane. Pulls it back for Origi. There's Kovacic off the post. Kovacic sends the ball over the top. Sane's in. He pulls it across. And Origi makes it 3-0. He's managed to hit the 30 goal mark. A very good return. Pulisic with the free kick. Cleared away. He'll get another chance. There's Melagoni on the edge of the area. His pass is a little wayward, but Witzel's got it back. Now Kovacic slips it through for Origi's hat-trick. Well, this is going to be another excellent victory for the team. We have ended the season very well. A disappointing defeat to Manchester City aside. We've also managed to secure second place in the table by winning this game, regardless of what the other teams may or may not have achieved. It could look more comfortable than it maybe was. Chambers just sending in a late cross, but it's easily picked up, and that will be the full-time whistle. We've done it. We've managed to finish second. I can be very, very happy with that, and I hope you guys are pretty happy with it too. We've come a long way since that first season where we nearly got sacked twice. We've only managed to finish second by 1 point. Now, I do normally say 75 points is the threshold for Champions League qualification. 85 is normally the threshold for winning the title without other people being able to knock you off. So I think we've done very well this season. But we do need to find an extra 10 points next time out. And I think that's very doable because there's been a lot of games that we have lost when we maybe shouldn't have. It's worth noting that Divock Origi has set a new goal scoring record at 31 goals. He beats last season's total of 30. He's also set the record for the most player of the match awards in a game and finished second for the Golden Boot, so I think that counts as a silver boot. Rahman and Mamana both entering into the team of the year. I'm not sure why Breland Bolo is ahead of Origi up front. And a few players joining the overall list. That's Lucas Vazquez on the right and Axel Witsel in defensive midfield. Quite a few flashbacks to the past here with Christian Atsu on the left wing. He is definitely a bit of a hero for us. Divock Origi also won Player of the Year, which is quite nice. Mamana and Rahman behind him. Melagoni taking the other 3 awards. He was a very good signing for £15 million. He must be worth a lot more than that. He's £27.5 million his valuation. He's only 22 years old. So he has got a lot of potential and a good future ahead of him. It was a very good season overall. I think everybody's happy with that. We've managed to put ourselves in a position to go for the title next season. The board are happy, not as happy as they have been in previous seasons, but the more we improve, the more difficult it will become to impress them. All of the main season fixtures are now over, including the Champions League, which is why we're up to the 5th of June. It was today. If we have a look at the competitions, we can do a little review of how we performed in each of them. We ended up finishing second in the Premier League, as we just saw. Spurs finishing top, Arsenal and City getting the other Champions League places, with Chelsea and United just falling short. West Ham have now become one of the teams competing for these Europa League places on a very regular basis. I could almost say that they forced Liverpool out, because I think West Ham have finished above Liverpool the past couple of seasons. Everton fell away quite a bit, as have Leicester. They finished 15 points behind Liverpool, so a big gap forming between the top and bottom half of the table. All a bit tight in mid-table, kind of as you would expect. Norwich, Wolves and Fulham going down. I think you could probably have assumed that would be the case. The bottom 7 really are not really that great. They all could have gone down in a different season, finishing on 40 points or lower. I think West Ham have the highest points record for going down, which was at 40. Might even have been 41. But as you can see, there is a bit of disparity forming. The big teams are winning more games and the poor teams are winning less than they ordinarily would. In the EFL Cup, we went out in the 3rd round. The board weren't particularly happy with us for doing that. But I was trying to prioritise the League and Champions League at that point, and it's debatable as to what effect that actually had on our season. So I think in future I'm going to go after getting as much silverware as possible, because I think we're still a few seasons away from winning the Champions League. The Premier League is within our grasp, and I will prioritise that again next season. I really bloody want that title. In the FA Cup, again, the board weren't happy that we didn't make the 6th round. We'll be trying to win that next season. These 3 competitions at the top are the most important for me. The EFL Cup, I will rest players until we get to the semi-finals, pretty much. and in the Community Shield, that is a competition that we did win, so we did get some silverware this season, but not massively important. PSG won the Champions League. They are looking like the dominant force in Europe. They've won it the last 2 times. Barcelona before that, Chelsea before that, and Juventus the very first season that I took over. The FA Cup was taken by Manchester United. It was a Manchester derby for the final, so interesting to see that. The EFL Cup was won by Manchester City, so the two Manchester teams sharing the cup competitions, with Tottenham winning their first Premier League title for a very, very long time. If we have a look at their competition history, we can see that they won the title for the first time in 60 years. They seem to like winning it on a one, so maybe it'll be 10 years before they win it again, but only the third title in their history after finishing runner-up in the past 3 seasons. I hope that doesn't happen to us in this save. I think I'd pull my hair out if we finish second 3 years in a row. I want to win the title next season. That is the priority. If we have a look at our squad and who performed well this season, the standout player for me was Divock Origi. He was great the season before. He was great again this season. 26 goals in 36 games, stepping up quite a big way from last season in the league. Overall, he got 31 in 44. Last season, he got 30 in 49. So not bad at all. He was never used as a substitute. He was far and away our leading striker. And at 22 million, he looks like he was a very good bit of business. Mateo Kovacic was as solid as ever. He's 27 years old, so he's getting on a little bit now. Probably got 2 or 3 more great seasons out of him, but as a £6 million signing, very happy with how he's turned out. Honourable mentions can perhaps go to Leroy Sané, the player that we signed in January. He was fantastic for us. 11 games, 4 goals, 5 assists, 7.42 rating. You cannot knock that at all. He was a very, very good player to bring in at the right time. Pulisic is another one who's been with us for a long time. We signed him in the Championship, if I remember right. So he's one of the older players that we've got. In our first season, we brought him in. He's been with us all along. He's been injured quite a few times, which is why he's maybe not getting as many games. But this season, he had a full, healthy run in the first team. And he got 10 assists and 9 goals, 7.14 rating, breaking over that 7-point barrier for the first time. It cost us 25 million, currently valued at 35. Players like Joel Campbell might actually be leaving this summer. They've not been playing very much for us. They're getting a little bit older, and I don't want them to start to lose value. Joel Campbell was particularly disappointing this season after 2 very good seasons with us before. Melagoni turned out to be a bit of a revelation. I signed him thinking he might be a rotation player who is quite young, but instead he forced his way into the first team. He's been doing brilliantly ever since. And he's actually forced Vilhena out of the squad, and Vilhena's sort of going down in my eyes a little bit. I mean, he's still a very good player, but he might not be around for the longer term. Lucas Silva might be leaving soon. He's been clearly replaced by Axel Witsel in defensive midfield. Only 14 Premier League games this season after playing 29 and 30 before that. Baba Rahman's a very good left back. He's done well for us. Lascelles might be leaving. He is really just not good enough. And Mangala again also didn't play much. A couple of times he came asking for more game time. I think Michael Keane is better than Mangala, so I think both of these could end up leaving the club, as could Chancellor Mbemba. But if these two leave, I'll probably keep Mbemba as the rotation player. Mamana's been very good for us. He's not too old. He's 25 now. We signed him for just 19 million, and he's currently worth 29, so that is not bad. Matthew Ketchell is a great player for the future. He's been out on loan at Swansea in the Premier League and been playing very, very well, getting a 7.04 rating. But unfortunately, Axe Murray is also a very young and very good goalkeeper. He's currently rated at £18 million, and we signed him on a free. So that's an area to watch. I think, start rotating them next season. At the moment, we've got Origi as our backup goalkeeper. But Ketchell is very, very good, and most importantly, he's English and trained at the club. So definitely something to look out for there. Looking at some of the other areas of the squad, players who will be coming through next season are in the under-18s. If you have a look at the potential, Scott Orr will be coming into the first team next season. He has been one I've been keeping an eye on for a long time. And he's not been performing that great, but he's been at relegation-threatened clubs. but he has got a very good potential rating, so he'll be coming up to the first team. Aaron Smith might also come up if we sell 2 defenders. He could definitely do a job. Otherwise, we've still not had a top quality striker come through, and that is one area that I really want to strengthen in the summer, because we've only got Divock Origi and Jermaine up front, so we need to bring in a top quality striker to add a bit of extra support, especially if we let Joel Campbell go. Julian Green will probably stay just because of his heroics last season. I just love him as a player. He's been with us for 4 years now. He's never really broken into the team, but he's versatile and he's on a backup contract, so there's no complaints from him. Not at the moment anyway. But that's kind of the overview of the squad. The finances of the club are looking fairly healthy. They were looking a bit dangerous at a certain point where they went into the negative, but we've got a decent amount of money. Not a big transfer budget, but we don't need to make too many changes. A top quality striker is the priority. The board are fairly happy with our job. No danger there. I think that's really all there is to say. If there is anything else you want to know, do drop me a comment. I'm always happy to do requests if there's certain questions that you've got, issues you want me to take a look at, or just players that you're interested to see how they're doing 5 years into the game. Let me know down below and I'll help you out. But that will be all for this episode. If you enjoyed our 5th season at the club, do drop a like on the video and subscribe if you want to see if we can win the title next season. But until next time, see ya.